What's happening, everybody? This is Can I Get More Podcasts in my monitor. I am Johnny Ruckus. I hope all is well today. I got a great show for you today. I'm sharing my conversation with my friend Bruce Humphries from the Milwaukee-based band Bruce Humphries and the Rockabilly Rebels. We talk about rockabilly and where his interest in this genre stems from. We talk about his affinity for Gretsch guitars. And we also get into his injury that almost took his ability to play guitar. And we also talk about staying busy during quarantine. So I'll stop yapping. Here's Bruce Humphries. Thanks a lot. All right, so Bruce Humphries, it's been a while. How's it going, my man?
It's living the dream on this end. Living the dream.
There you go. Now, if only we could do, because living the dream is always like I'm living the dream, bud. It's like one of these things. Yeah. Too bad that's like if you say I'm living the dream, too bad there's like negative connotations to it now.
Yes, I say it very sarcastically.
Yeah.
But, if I say it enough times, maybe I'll start to believe it.
Start to believe it. There you go. All right. I don't know a ton about rockabilly. Okay. Well, for, Bruce Humphries and the Rockabilly Rebels. So whoever's listening, I don't know a ton about it. I think my extent is like Brian Setzer, That's about it. I know there's obviously a ton more. There's a bunch of eras from it, but that's my understanding. So, like, in your words, what is rockabilly? What is it? What does that do?
Whenever I have to describe what rockabilly is, I tell them 50s rock and roll, but that we have more of a rock and roll, some punk elements to it. We're not straight up rockabilly. Probably too hard for the rockabilly crowd, too soft for the psychobilly crowd. I always use like early Elvis as, everybody knows who Elvis is still, I think.
Yeah.
That whole Sun Records, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis sound. I got a lot of that influence in my songwriting. And of course, the Stray Cats, Brian Setzer. He's the one, that band is the one that exposed me to all these other great rockabilly artists and way back in the 80s, early 80s.
Sure. It is. Oh, go ahead. If you're.
No, that's all I was going to say.
So is that, I would assume that's maybe not your like earliest influence, or like you grew, or did you kind of like grow up and then it's like you saw that and was like, oh, that's mine. Like were you listening to other stuff like from your parents or anything like that before that?
Yeah. So my parents, they were not, well, I remember them going to like bluegrass festivals. So we'd go camping. The campgrounds would have these bluegrass festivals. This was in Indiana, Kentucky. But I don't really recall them listening to bluegrass in the house. I remember a lot of John Denver, which is pretty funny because, God, it just sucked. Although I do have to admit that when I came across a John Denver album at a rummage sale, I did pick it up just for memory's sake.
Sure.
Because, it had to be an influence somehow. Early 70s, I would have been 5 in 1970. I saw the Partridge Family and, so David Cassidy and the band rocking it out.
Oh, yeah.
And Beatles, I remember liking the Beatles a whole lot. A lot of poppy crap stuff. Rick Springfield got into the Go-Go's and then new wave and punk rock and yeah, it was weird. I came across, I bought the Stray Cats album and I thought, it's okay. And then I saw them live in concert. And it was that moment when I saw rockabilly being played in concert I mean, I was hooked. I was hooked at that point. So I think it was the live show that did it for me. The music's good. I mean, I got more into the music and understood it a little bit better. But seeing, Lee Rocker, the bass player, chasing around Brian Setzer with his big bass on top of his, and their guitar stands were trash cans, so they put their guitar in the trash can. It was awesome. So yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Okay, so that time, around that time, around what year was that? Was that 80? What was that? 80, 82? Or was it a little bit before that?
No, it would have been 82 or possibly even 83. I think it was 82.
Okay.
When I saw him live. Yeah.
So were you playing guitar by then?
Oh God, no.
No?
Well, I think I had a guitar, but I wasn't very good. I started out with drums, and I was even worse on drums. I thought, well, he'll come to me. And so, yeah, well, I didn't realize how much I'd have to work for it to come to me. And I didn't want to be stuck in the back of a band. I wanted to be up front for some reason. So I started playing guitar. I thought that would be easier. And ironically, it never came to me. I had to work at that. So, yeah, years and years and years of playing crappy stuff. So,
well, you're far too pretty to be stuck in the back behind the headstocks and cymbals. So it's a good idea you hopped up front.
Thank you.
So
that's so sweet.
oh shucks.
It's the nicest singing by said to me today.
Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, thank you.
So did that then inspire you to dig in on the instrument, or?
Yeah. I started taking lessons shortly after. I remember, taking that, a Stray Cat song and be like, I want to play this. And, I'm sure the guitar instructor listened to it and listened to Setzer's playing. It's like, yeah, I'd like to play like that too. But, he showed me a couple riffs. And I actually was able to retain those licks. But I turned out to be more of a rhythm player. And I never really worked at figuring out how to play lead. Some people can sit down and just be a lead player and just play these incredible things, and I was never like that, and I never worked at it. So that was part of the issue. But I just never really had the ear for it. I kind of had to, I don't know, just eventually years of playing, it's come to me a little bit, but I still got a ways to go.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah, I never, you can do, lead or whatever, come out, kind of fall out of your ass or whatever. But it's like, I really wasn't much of a lead player too. I just never, there's certain things I can do, but I kind of, you got to be a different cool to play rhythm. At least that's what I'm telling myself.
Yeah. I like how that sounds. Nice.
Okay. So, at this point you're okay. And then that time, around that time when you hear the Stray Cats, you're about 17 years old. And then when do you start, you're working on the guitar here.
Mm-hmm.
When do you, start your first band, join your first band? When was that in the journey?
Yeah. I was kind of around that same time. I was playing with some other high school friends, and we were playing punk stuff, so 2-finger bar chord stuff, but it was more of a once in a while jam. We could never really get anything going where we'd have a show. There was a couple talent shows. I think we were in that, we'd play 1 or 2 songs, and we barely made it through those. And we did not win either. Talent wasn't there. And so I went to college. I was in a cover band. We did Ramones and Cramps and Violent Femmes. Pretty easy stuff to pick up. And so, yeah, I was just doing cover bands as much as I wrote a few songs here and there that were more of the alternative rock,
Okay.
punk stuff.
Sure.
But it wasn't until the early 90s when I actually was like, you know what, it's time to start a rockabilly band.
Okay.
And I never thought I could play it. Just, listening to Setzer and Stray Cats, I'm like, there's no way I could play it. But my buddy got an upright bass. I thank God I foolishly bought a Gretsch. I went into a music instrument store and set my sunglasses down on an amp and was sitting there playing a Gretsch. I got up, we left, drove about half an hour away. I was like, God damn it, I forgot my sunglasses. Went back to get my sunglasses and walked out with a $1,800 Gretsch. Guy behind the counter was like, do you want the black case or the white case? I'm like, what's the price difference? He's like, $80. So I'm like, I'll just take the black case. He comes out with the black case. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take the white case. Put it on a credit card. I'll worry about the money later.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Did you remember your sunglasses?
Yes, I did. That was the most expensive pair of sunglasses. But yeah, that guitar's still with me, and that was 92 or 93, I think. We were playing an alternative rock and roll band, but it was just time to switch.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So you still have it. Is that the one we see all the pictures? Is that still the same one?
The big orange one. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask, I was going to get into a little gear nerditry here, but we'll get in there now.
Okay.
But yeah, I was going to ask about the Gretsch. Was it because Brian Setzer plays Gretches, right? I think
yes,
so.
He does.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So was that kind of was that the inspiration, or do you think it just did the thing you wanted to, and it just happened to be that he also played Gretches?
Setzer played it. Eddie Cochran played it. Well, let me think here. Setzer was doing the orchestra around that time, just starting it out, I think. Yeah. Early 90s. Yeah, he's pretty well known for that orange Gretsch. So I'm sure that influenced me. Although when I was at the instrument shop, they had a Brian Setzer model right next to the one that I ended up buying. And it had, dice for the knobs.
Sure.
And I was just like, I can't get that one. It just felt wrong. It felt like I was wanting to be Brian Setzer or something, it just didn't feel right. Although, a guitar that my dream guitar is the Gretsch White Falcon.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I had the opportunity, if I would have spent like $500 more for when I went back to get my sunglasses, I could have had the White Falcon. But I think I only had a $2,000 limit on my credit card, so so I couldn't have bought it, which sucks now because now they're $3,000 or $4,000. So this, but I remember Setzer playing a White Falcon, and the thing looked huge on him. It was just I like those big guitars, and then I realized, well, he's probably about half a foot to a foot shorter than me. So yeah, of course it looks bigger on him. But yeah, I mean, Gretsch is just an iconic rockabilly guitar. And it's just so well known. So yeah, so I went with the orange one probably because of Setzer. But I did not get the Setzer model because of Setzer.
Yeah, well, with it, that one is so stylized. Yeah, with the dice. And it's it's obviously spec'd out for him. So it's like you almost pigeonhole yourself by getting that guitar, even though obviously you can play whatever,
Right.
But
yeah,
Gretches do I've never owned a Gretsch. I've only played like the real, I guess more the cheap ones. Like what do they call that? Something Jet Junior or something like that. It's like $300.
Yeah.
But it's super sick and I want it.
Yeah. Well, go play a $1,500 one and see how that feels compared to the Jet. I can't remember what that brand is. I should know, but I'm not really that much of a tech geek. So, but yeah, try a $1,500 one. When I was out looking for guitars before I bought that Gretsch, we went to a place in Louisville. This was around Louisville, Kentucky, where I was living. And there's a place, I think it was called Guitar Emporium, where they had a bunch of old classic Gretsch guitars, $3,000. And I'd sit down to play one, the strings were popping off the bridge, and it's just like, these things sound like crap. So that's why I ended up buying this one. It was brand new and it plays great. And it's not old. And although now I wouldn't mind like an old White Falcon, but, whatever. So.
Yeah. The White Falcon kind of seems to be like the kind of the grail of the Gretches, huh?
It was. I was watching a review. Somebody was playing it the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, this is kind of like the holy grail of guitars." And I'm like, "Yeah, all right." So I asked my wife a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, "What do I have to sell so I can get my dream guitar?" Because they bought one for me. They bought a Gretsch Electromatic for me on my 50th birthday.
Okay.
Or my wife and kid, they allowed me to buy one, So, but at that point in time, I thought that because of health issues that I wouldn't be playing again.
Oh yeah.
And it was just kind of something I wanted to do for 50th birthday, and I wasn't playing at that point. And now that I'm able to play, I'm like, all right, maybe I got to rethink this. Life is too short. And part of this was because I went to Cream City Music here in Milwaukee area. Yeah. And they had a Gretsch White Falcon way up high, out of reach. Mm-hmm. And I took a photo, sent it to my wife saying, it's a good thing this thing's too high up. But I ended up asking the guy to take it down, and I strummed it and played it a few. I'm just like, oh, okay. What do I got to do to have my dream guitar before I'm too old to play, and so we've kind of talked about it, and I'm working toward doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I was going to mention Cream City because they have, is it the Gretsch Room? Is that what they have there? I can't quite remember. Or is
they used to.
Okay.
It used to be a Gretsch Room. Now it's just the acoustic guitar room.
That's right. Okay.
They have a Gretsch section wall. So I'm not, I don't know why they switched that or anything, but yeah, they still have a lot of Gretches there.
Yeah, I know I don't get to make it there too often, but the last time I went there, I went in the acoustic room. I was with my brother-in-law, and they had a Buck Owens, the red, white, and blue acoustic.
Oh yeah.
Yep. They had one of those. I was like, oh, so I grabbed that and I played that and for a little bit, and it was, oh, this is so rad. And then it's a couple gur at this point, not like the, what was it, like $50, back when it first came out in the catalog.
Right.
But it was rad, and it had, it had the mojo,
Right.
So.
Right. but $50 when it came out in the catalog is what compared to today's $50. So,
sure. Yeah, it was still a good amount of money for damn sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So I know that you got that new, what is it, the Tone Master Fender amp now?
I did. I sold my other amp and a guitar so that I could purchase that. Getting older and trying to carry around tube amps, not so much fun. And that's becoming blatantly obvious the older I get that I can't carry stuff like that around.
Yeah.
So, I went from like 45 pounds down to 33 pounds, but it's amazing what the 12-pound difference is.
Yeah.
This thing, I'm just thrilled with this. And I didn't think I would be. I thought I would never go back to a solid state. amp, but a friend of mine on Facebook bought one, and I was conversing with him, and he plays a lot. He plays rockabilly, all kinds of music, and I thought, tell me what you think, and he loved it, and so I right when the pandemic hit, I was able to pick one up before everything shut down.
Sure.
I wasn't allowed to go in the store, but the guy at Cream City brought it out and handed it to me, and I've been happy with it. Yeah, it just sounds good.
Yeah, I went to a music store. I don't know, we'll call it a month ago or whatever, and they had one there, and it's that's part of the selling point is that it's light as shit, So I picked it up and I'm like, oh yeah, this thing is really light for sure. And then I called my wife over and I said, hey, pick this thing up, and she kind of looked at me because she like my amp is a tank, much it's like 70 pounds or something like that. It's freaking nuts. So she picks it up and she's, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could get away with doing everything I do with it, but I would definitely have fun because it does do a different it does do a different thing that I'm also looking for. I got the high gain amp, but it would be nice to have kind of a lower gain, pedal platform kind of thing,
Right. Yeah, I went with the twin speakers as opposed to they've got the single speaker version of it, which I think is only 23 pounds or somewhere like that. So super light, but I wanted a little bit more of a fuller sound. And yeah, I'd watch the comparison videos on YouTube, and the guy's like, yeah, I can tell a little bit of a difference, but it's not that much of a difference between the two. And so they got a lot of really good reviews. And they did have, when I went in and I played that Gretsch, they did have one of my old amps, which was a twin speaker crate amp that was like 65 pounds. And I took a photo of it and sent it to my wife because she remembers me trying to carry that thing around. And I thought, well, I'm just going to see if I can pick it up. And I'm like, oh, I can't do it. Nope, not going to try. I take too long to heal these days. So, nope.
Yeah, I hear you. What is the Tone Master? What is that like? Is that a twin reverb that they based off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's close, so that and if you're playing live, if it's that close and it doesn't weigh that much, and it's a Fender solid state amp, so really should work how it should for as long as you need it to. So
yeah. And like I said earlier, I'm not a tech geek, so I don't know a whole lot about this kind of stuff. But they had an XLR jack in the back, so I can run my XLR out into my PA system, and it's like I don't have to mic the amp.
Yeah,
I can use my amp as a monitor and play it through the mains, and it's so cool. And like you said, I can adjust the wattage, so I'm not like pushing out. Like, I could just play a small room, or I can play a great big room, and it sounds good. So,
yeah, the technology these days, especially with amps, is nice and overwhelming, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, if we're in the middle of the nerd talk here, and I know this, but you did have some health issues. I don't know if you feel like talking about that at all, or
sure. No, it was basically years and years of playing, years of not taking good care of myself with nutrition and being up late, getting up early, drinking or drugging, whatever. Years and years of playing. So I had a lot of scar tissue in my arms. So I'd have pain whenever I was playing with a guy back in Philadelphia. And we'd do a show and I would be in pain. It wasn't like intense pain, but it was aching pain for like a week or so after playing. And I thought, okay, I'll just quit playing for a little while, take a month off, go back to it. Same thing, pain. I'll do acupuncture, massage. I'll go and have it looked at. It's like maybe I'll work out. I'll get more exercise and build up muscles, and same thing over and over. So I thought, okay, I'm done. I mean, I'm tired of being in pain.
Yeah.
But also as a visual artist, there for a while, I was able to paint, draw and stuff, but that eventually started to hurt. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I got to do some research.
Yeah.
And I did research, and I found internet, a group of physicians called Musicians Physicians.
Okay.
And there happened to be one over in Milwaukee that was a part of that. And I started going to him, and, I had been to doctor after doctor, chiropractor, acupuncturist, just, explaining, going over the whole story. I'm like, here I am again, back in another doctor's office. I got to tell the damn story again.
Right.
And I was up front with him. I'm like, dude, I'm not optimistic at all. So I worked with him, and he broke up the scar tissue, and I did everything that he told me to do, exercises, stretching exercises, nutritional supplements. And lo and behold, he got me back to playing. And I was like, I'll never play 3 to 5 hour shows again. And of course, now I'm playing 3-4 hour shows. But I'm not hurting as much. There's some irritation, but it's bearable. It's manageable. And it never occurred to me that, playing guitar, playing music is like a sport. So you're using tons of muscles in your hands, arms. You gotta stretch those things out.
Yeah.
And so I was stretching out 15 minutes before I play, and then stretching out 15 minutes after I play. I'm like, you being a musician, you just want to pick up the guitar and start playing. I don't want to do stretches.
No.
Before.
No.
But so yeah, it was pretty and unfortunately he moved to Nashville. Unfortunately for me. Great for him because he treated musicians. I probably shouldn't say who he was treating, but he was in Chicago at a huge concert at the baseball field.
Okay.
He'd be flown out to Red Rocks in Colorado just so the band would fly him out so they could be treated before they go on stage. So, great for him.
Yeah.
Bad for me, but I know when he left, he's like, the exercises, what you need to do. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, you're right. So I picked myself up my pity potty, and I went on about my way, and here we are.
There you go.
So,
no, that's awesome. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Luckily, I've heard of that. Musicians, physicians, easy enough for anybody to say.
Yeah.
I've heard of that. No, man, it was lucky that it was right in Pewaukee,
Yeah,
so,
blown away. I mean, how
more or less right down the road from you,
Yeah, how I don't want to say it was an act of God but it was a blessing. I mean, how could that be any more right to find one of those that was 20-minute drive for me?
Yeah,
and that I could go to twice a week and 3 times a week for a while. And then, and it was cool. It was cool because one of our first shows, it was probably the second year that we were together. We were playing right outside that doctor's office on Pewaukee Lake. And so it was like, I've come full circle. I didn't think I'd ever play again. I went to this guy, and now I'm playing a 3-hour gig in front of their office and feeling good about it. So I got treated and then went over and played. So,
couldn't have worked any better. Yeah, if I'm sitting here, if I'm going to go, if I just grab the guitar, or if I'm going to, end up demoing something or whatever, I don't do any warm-ups or anything like that. No. Just kind of, just going to ease into it or whatever. But yeah, when you go to play a gig, it was, you're stretching your arms and your fingers and the whole deal. And then you're, get down on the ground and stretching your legs and stuff. So it's like, I'm playing, I'm playing the loud rocking out stuff. I'm a fat guy, but I'm running around and jumping around and all that stuff. So it's like, I'm nearing 40 now, but obviously I can't even when I was younger, I'd still hurt myself. So no, it's super important. But yeah, me and the drummer would be sitting there, stretching arms out, and then everybody be walking by and just kind of like, oh, what are these freaking nutsacks doing? But yeah, it's so I don't pull a hammy, damn it.
I got some shit for, needing be like, hey, we got to take a break or something, Other people that don't have the pain don't understand, and sometimes they can be kind of cruel by being like calling you names like, oh, you wimp, come on, wimp. But yeah, I was down for 8 years and talk about depressing because I'd be like, look at Paul McCartney. He's like, what, in his 70s and he's still playing. Somebody did have a good point. They're like, well, you don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And that's true. It's some things I read. It's like musicians don't like to talk about because then they don't get booked because the people are worried that they're not going to show up because they've got, I don't know how true that is, but now I'm not going to have any shows because I'm on. Can I get more podcasts in my monitor?
No one's listening anyways. Yeah. I don't know how much, maybe at some point in the world, maybe that would have been the thing where they wouldn't, book you or whatever. Cause that, but just with like all the new information that's come, like, even sports with like, the concussion protocols and stuff like that, or other kind of, there's all sorts of like, there's a lot more awareness now of all sorts of stuff. So I don't think that would happen. Maybe I'm sure you'd find some dickhead to do that, but you probably don't want to work with them anyways.
Well, a lot of the bigger things that bigger things like the fairs or something like that, they usually have contracts you got to sign. So, I'm not going to be signing a contract if I'm not going to be able to play it.
Oh, right.
And it's not like I can't play. I just might be in pain but knock on wood, it's not happening. So
sure. No, yeah. You found the right guy. And it's working. It's worked. So why wouldn't it continue to work? So how long has the Rockabilly Rebels been the Rockabilly Rebels?
We started in 2017. So I think in the spring of 2017.
That's right. Okay.
And I think we had a show within a couple weeks. So it's kind of like scrambled to come up with a name.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I ended up getting all new players a year after, I think. A little bit over a year after, and we've been together since. Although we do have a new bass player now.
Because when I played with you, that was in. I want to say that was in that. I think that was in 2017 at some point.
It would have been the fall. I think it was starting to get cool.
Yeah, something
about
like
then.
Yeah, something like
that.
Yeah, and you bailed. Again, thank you. You bailed me out a couple of times on gigs at the thing. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, you guys are. I'm not. Wasn't super familiar with rockabilly, but it kind of goes in with country. Well, there's elements, I suppose, from each way. And when we were trying, I know we talked about this, but like when I was trying to book the old thing that I was in, it was very difficult to try to find bands that are anything, like that,
Right.
So when I found you, I was like, okay, they play the same in the same ish realm, but then you're also really good, which helps. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and
It's interesting. It's interesting to see more recent shows as opposed to within the past year, as opposed to the first year that we were playing. I'm like, oh my God, I thought we were really good then, and we were.
Yeah.
But a few years later, it's like, wow, I think we're even better. But I'm biased, so.
Well, nothing against the previous iteration, but yeah, I would say you guys are better now. Just I haven't seen you live in the flesh, but I've seen a bunch of videos, and they're
right.
The guys that you got are with are really, really good.
And I have to thank them because they're the ones that are making my songs sound good. And that's Kurt Weber on drums, Lorenzo Rapani on guitar, and John Steffes is on bass. Brett Baxter was with us for quite a while, so he needs a little shout out too, because
absolutely,
without them believing in the songs that I'm writing, I'd still be in the basement playing, which just happens. I'm back in the basement playing because of the pandemic, but
yeah,
they've been great, so very supportive.
Yeah, it's good when you can find a group of dudes that buy in, and they I guess I mean your name's on the band, so it's your band, I guess. I mean, obviously I don't know what the inner workings are, but nonetheless, for them to be able to buy in and take your ideas and make them bigger and grander, shout out definitely to all those dudes.
Yeah, that's I wish I could share it, but it's a really funny story how my name got attached to the front of it, but I can't go into it. Not in public, at least. Maybe in private, but they're
scandalous.
Yes. Not really scandalous, just humorous.
Sure.
But I don't want to offend anybody, so.
Nah, that's all good.
I'm not going down that. I can't go down that road, unfortunately.
When you write, what is your writing approach? Do you have a fully formed idea ready to go, or do you just come in with the basic riff, or how does it work when you're writing songs and then bring it to the band?
I would say all the above, but I probably have very seldom gone in with a whole idea. Usually I'll sit around, I'll be playing guitar, and I'll come up with a riff. I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of cool, or chord progression.
Right.
And then I'll kind of have that, and then I'll write words to that. A couple years ago, it's funny, we got a pop-up camper, and my daughter and I camped out in the driveway one evening, but she would go to sleep, and I'd get my guitar out and a notepad and just start playing. And I collect, if somebody says something or an old phrase like, I got a bone to pick with you, I'll write it down. And so I had a whole list of those, and I picked I got a bone to pick with you and just started strumming. And that's how that song came together. It was just sitting out in the camper. And I came up with that. And plus, around that time, that would have been 2018, I think, just looking at stuff on Facebook, dealing with social media, and it's like all these opinions. And so it's like, oh, this is perfect. It's like I got a bone to pick with about everybody. So everybody probably has bones to pick with someone. So everyone should be able to relate to the song.
Sure.
And so that's how that one came together. Sometimes I'll get like my daughter got a ukulele, and I just sat around and started playing. That was just inspiring because I came up with a few chords, and I'm like, oh, I'll just write a song. So yeah, just kind of all over the place.
Sure. Yeah. Well, like for me, I don't write lyrics and melodies. I don't think too many people want to hear me sing. So, but I'm a psycho. So I typically write a full song. Like I'll demo the full song. I'll have drums, bass, the whole thing. And then it's like, here, but like, once we get going here, cause we've been demoing for a long time. A couple of the guys that I was in the, 215 with. So we've been working on demos, and it's just, the whole 2020 thing happens, and that slows everything down. And then, life happens and stuff, which is just fine. We're definitely taking our time, but yeah, I'm a psycho. I will, I will demo the whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I normally will come up with like, I'll have a feel in my head, so then that's why that's kind of how the whole thing demos out. Cause I have like a feel, in mind. Yeah. So then it's like, well, if you play guitar, like, oh, I was thinking this, it's like, well, why don't I just like program some drums and I'll just show you, it's just, you get a full, in my idea, you get kind of a full thing, especially cause we're not like a fully functioning band, know?
Right.
So
I think part of that's good for just the songwriting process is because I do the same thing. I'll just open up GarageBand and pick a drum, it's not really programming it, but, I'll throw on the rhythm guitar, and then I'll start fooling around with a lead and be like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I'll throw some effects on it. And maybe it needs, I haven't put keyboards on anything yet, but like slide guitar, steel, pedal steel or lap steel. And just kind of mess with it, and then send it to the guys and be like, this is what I've come up with. And then when we get together, we'll kind of bounce a little bit more ideas off of each other. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a great way to write music, just so you can kind of get it out and show the guys.
And my approach would probably, once we get playing together and stuff, I'm sure my approach will change. But just as far as when my old band when 215 was getting all back together, we had like this amount of time, like no time to write a bunch of songs and do the whole shit. So it kind of was like, I had to do it that way. And that's how we got to, we got the time,
Right.
But yeah.
And now it's probably a really good time to do that with COVID and not being able to get together. Makes it a little difficult.
Yeah. And now, and then I can just send the songs to the singer, and he can take his time and write melodies, whatever it may be. And then he knows where stuff's going on, with the drums and the whole thing. So it does work out. Cool. And then once we get to that, we could release that as demos, get them mixed and, so.
Sweet.
Technology, man.
Yeah. Well, and that's something I've been thinking about. It's like, we're not doing anything. It'd be really nice to record. Yeah. But I don't know if we really should get together. But yeah, I'm going to do some tracks, and I'll send it over to our drummer, who just needs to know what the beats per minute is. And so that he can lay down the drum tracks to it, and then he'll send it back to me, and then I'll maybe send it to the bass player and then the guitar player. Luckily, we all have some kind of technology that we can fiddle with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And there's been a lot of people that have done that. I listen to podcasts all the fucking time. So it's like I was listening to Chris Shiflett's podcast from the Foo Fighters, and he had I can't remember the woman's name, but she had just come out with I think just came out with an album like, whatever, a month ago at this point. And that's how she recorded the album is she had a producer. I think they worked on stuff before, this whole shit happened, and then the shit happened. So she had to go home. So then she, recorded the guitars and blah, 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 and then sent it to him. And then he brought in studio musicians, and they played all the songs. She's like, I have no idea what's going on with the songs. She heard them here with just her playing guitar and then maybe singing. I don't know. And then it came back as a fully fledged band.
Okay.
But I mean, it's possible. and it's an option for sure. And especially since all your guys have ways to do it.
Yeah.
You know, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, and it keeps us busy, and it just gives us something, gives me something to look forward to, So and I think that's what's really important right now is just having something, that's why I'm doing a weekly live stream from the basement. It's just to make sure I'm still playing.
Yeah.
That I've got something to look forward to. Yeah. And maybe bring a little joy to someone's evening, So.
Yeah, it's fun. I haven't been able to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I've gone in bits and pieces and stuff like that. Yeah, it's fun, man. And you just kind of you keep your chops up, you keep the songs in your head, and you just kind of stay involved one way or another, Yeah. But you guys just had you guys played a show not that long ago, right? Was that September sometime? You guys had a gig. I know it was an outdoor gig. Was it September?
Yeah, it was September. I think it was September. We played down in Janesville. Yeah, with Daryl Broughton from Gas Can Alley.
Oh,
went down. Yeah. They were putting on their Atomic Voodoo Meltdown event. So I think that's the one that we played. We were actually pretty lucky and played a number of shows. We had a ton of really good shows canceled, obviously. But we were able to still play some outdoor gigs, some indoor socially distant gigs, although now we're talking about, I'm not going to do an indoor gig unless it's something where I know everything's social distanced. But yeah, we were one of the lucky few that played, and I had some solo gigs. And so that was good. And I'm not comfortable in that kind of environment at all. Okay. Getting better, but I've always liked being able to hide behind a band. So if, we screw up, I could blame someone else. But with COVID, it's kind of made me think that now's the time to start really getting my chops up for just doing a solo thing. And that's another reason I'm doing the Thursday night things. Because I got some new pedals. I've never been like one of these people that like pre-programmed things or, drum machines, but I got a cool drum pedal. And so now I'm kind of building up the sound a little bit. I've got a loop, so I'm kind of fiddling with that. So I just have a feeling that full bands are not going to be playing as often. I think it's going to be more one or two people.
Okay.
Just because, if you got a stage in your venue, you got to have a certain amount of social distancing. But I have a feeling that's going to be probably a little bit more prevalent when, like, next year,
Yeah.
Who knows when the full bands are going to be able to play again in venues. So.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, yeah, and you did the kind of one-man show stuff, on and off here for a while with like the what do you got, a bass drum and a snare, and you do it with your feet and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I started that in 97, 98, I think, because I got tired of playing with other people. And so I found a bass drum at a farmer's auction and picked that up and then started adding snare and a couple cymbals, ride cymbal, crash cymbal, hi-hat, did a cowbell with my head for a while. But then I started having some pain, and I started playing with that guy in Philadelphia. So I stopped doing the one-man band as much. And I do it from time to time, but I'm just having a lot more fun doing just the pedal stuff and standing there with my guitar, and it's a lot less work.
Well, it is
in a way.
Yeah,
in a way.
It's a different work.
Yeah.
It's neat. What do you got? Like what are those called? Like beat buddies or something like that? I don't know if that's what the pedal is.
That's exactly what it is. It's a beat buddy, although I'm trying to come up with a little bit, cooler name, because when you're on stage and it's like, hey, I'm Bruce Humphries and this is my beat buddy. It just doesn't sound right. So, but yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a cool little thing. The drums sound pretty good.
Yeah.
For, what it is. Actually sound really good. And so I'm trying to kind of not be a pedal or a pre-programmed snob anymore, because I get it in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried, I bought a looper. I ended up selling it, but what I was planning on doing is something like maybe like a duo or something like that. And it just never got to that point. And I was like, whatever. I'll just put the loud rock band pedal board back together, but yeah, it's a neat, I had a lot of fun messing with the looper, and then I didn't have the beat buddy thing. I think it had like 2 beats or something like that. You could just put it on to keep tempo or whatever. But yeah, more or less, right?
Little Casio.
Yeah, I have one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You remember that song?
Oh yeah. No,
that
can.
Yeah.
Was it the
Casio, man?
Yeah. The what was that? The Volkswagen commercial brought that back up.
Yeah.
That exposed
the band's name's Trio for you boys and girls at home.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. This is a nice little quirky song. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Yeah, so we're getting close here to the end, but we'll you guys have, well, speaking of on your Thursdays here, you've been doing the live stream on your Facebook page. And then the 12th, you guys have a full band.
Woo.
Yeah, it's coming up 2 weeks.
You know your stuff, man.
I tried.
Your research.
Like the only notes I took.
When are you playing next?
Yeah.
Yes, November 12th through ACA Entertainment over in Waukesha, I believe is where that's at. Live stream. 7 to 8 Thursday. It's free. Full band. It's the last thing on our calendar.
Yeah, is that? I didn't see. Is it going to be a Facebook Live, or is it not determined yet?
It is Facebook Live,
okay.
And it will be through the ACA Entertainment Facebook page.
All right.
And they've been great to us. They've booked us for a few shows, the Pyramid Pizza event venue over in Lake Mills. I've got a few solo gigs from them. And they've been very supportive. So I'm really looking forward to going to their studio and having one last 2020 full band rock out.
Yeah, and you can play for an hour, so you can kind of like, you just kind of you run yourself out. You can sell out on it, if you will, and it'll be rad. Yeah, my buddy is called 20 Watt Tombstone. They did a couple of like lives, and they, the full feed, the whole deal, and they're really rad. They're a lot of They're a lot of work. But yeah, they did all the. It was rad. It was really freaking cool. So I'm sure yours will end up being just as cool. So yeah, no, it's just
going to be it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, with the pandemic 2020, it's like some things just don't matter. So we don't get together to practice.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, if we mess up, it's like, hey, it's 2020.
The whole thing is fucked
excuse. Up. Yeah. You think that cord was fucked up? Look outside your window. Turn on your television.
Yeah, right. Oh, it's disgusting. It's just horrible.
Yeah, it is.
But
and it's going to be a long time before us musicians are back out. You know, people don't understand that.
Yeah.
And I've got some great friends that love music and stuff. And I'm not going to go there. It's just, it's going to be a long time if we can't get it together, you know, as people, as a world, as whatever. If we can't get it together, musicians are going to be screwed for a while. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, and all the, we're losing venues left and right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know,
I shouldn't say musicians. There's a lot more than just musicians that are having.
Sure. But I mean, that's, you know, there's going to be, something I read, like, could be up to 15, gosh, it might be million. Yeah, probably 15 million gig, you know, type employees could be looking for work by the time whatever this is all said and done. Oh, God, it's ridiculous. But
I'm glad we're ending on a happy note here, because you know.
Well, we're gonna hear you. I know it kind of took a downturn there for a moment, but here I'm gonna switch so you got a little different look there. But yeah, you know, if you want, you got the show that we. You're very, very upfront there. You got the show that we talked about in a couple weeks. You know, I know you lost a bunch of gigs this year, but you've got a bunch rescheduled for next year. So
I've got one. Just the Waukesha County Fair is the only one rescheduled. I haven't even bothered sending out emails to anybody about whether they're booking. I'm just assuming that people are not booking for next year. But yeah. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, no kidding. So you got anything else you want to plug? You want to, what is BruceHumphries.com all about?
So you could go there to check out videos, tour dates, and sound samples. We're on Spotify. So check out Spotify, Apple, all those major streaming places, thingamajigs that they're called. Yeah, I'm not tech savvy. I told you that. So yeah, I still listen to records. We don't have any vinyl out, but we do have CDs.
There you go. And you're making the transition slowly from Facebook to the Instagram.
I'm trying.
Kind of, yeah. I know Facebook is such a, you know, Facebook.
Well, it's toxic and it's dysfunctional. And I'm trying to get rid of that in my life. So that's my opinion. But yeah, I'm trying to get on YouTube and, I'm on YouTube, but I'm trying to figure out how to get really high quality audio, and I'm struggling with that. So,
okay. Well, when I stop recording, we'll talk about that for a moment. I might be able to give you a little bit of something on that. So, but let's see here. Okay, we got at rockabillyrebels.usa on the Instagrams. Check out brucehumphries.com. You can find all the stuff that is going on with the band and potentially will be going on with the band, and you can get all the music at all the places you get music from. And did I get everything? I think I got everything, right?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. That sounds good. This has been Bruce Humphries on Can I Get More Podcasts on my monitor. Thanks, Bruce.
See ya. Thank you. No, thank you, John.
Okay, there you have it. Bruce Humphries, everybody. Thank you for listening. Visit brucehumphries.com or go to the Instagram page at rockabillyrebels.usa to follow the band, whatever they're doing. They have a Facebook Live show on November 12th. The link for the event will be in the bio. If you want to, please follow my show on Facebook and Instagram. It's at Podcast in My Monitor. Or if you'd like to follow me, Facebook, Instagram, and Parler, at the Johnny Ruckus. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. It helps a lot. I would definitely appreciate that. Visit anchor.fm/podcasts on my monitor. If you'd like to listen to the podcast version, it'll be on all the places that you get podcasts, Apple, Google, Amazon, Spotify, you name it, it's there. Please visit the t-shirt store, teespring.com/stores/the Johnny Ruck tees. And again, thanks everybody. Be a little bit better today than you were yesterday. Bye now.